Okay, on to the female rappers. So I'm going to talk about Bia, I'm going to talk about Doja Cat, I'm going to talk about Cardi B, I'm going to talk about Nicki Minaj, I'm going to add Lala Anthony and Halle Berry for good measure. So, Bia, female rapper, did the song with Nicki recently. She's from Medford, Massachusetts. She's of Puerto Rican and Italian descent. People came at Bia not too long ago, and she had to go on to her social media and say that she's very proud of her roots and said her grandparents were born in Puerto Rico, migrated to New York, and that her Puerto Ricans come in many different colors and race and is different from ethnicity. And she said, of course, we have Tiano, African, and Latin blood. And she says she's very proud to be Afro-Latina and Italian. You heard what she said. She calls herself Afro-Latina and Italian. The same thing as Cardi B, right? Let's move on to Doja Cat. Doja Cat, white Jewish mother, Jewish American mother, black South African dad. Cardi B, Dominican father, and a Trinidadian mother of African and Spanish descent. You see that, right? Nicki Minaj, Afro-Trinidadian mother, same as Cardi B. An Indo-Trinidadian father. What is Indo? It's people who are of Indian descent who reside in Trinidad and Tobago. You understand that. Both Nicki and Cardi B have Afro-Trinidadian mothers. So they're the same thing. When Nicki is coming for Cardi B talking about misappropriating black culture, they're from the same descent. And Nicki Minaj is not even American. They're from the same descent. But that doesn't matter that she's not American. They're from the same descent. Lala Anthony is Puerto Rican, but she says she chooses to identify as Afro-Puerto Rican. Now remember that Bia talked about they having different kinds of Puerto Ricans, because a lot of people at one time believed that all Puerto Ricans are white, but no, they're Afro-Puerto Ricans. And that's what Lala chooses to identify as. Halle Berry, white English mother, black father, African American. All these people are the same concept. They have African blood in them, whether it's African American, but we all did come from Africa. For some people, some African Americans don't want to admit that. They say, no, I'm only American. I'm black American. I'm not African American. But guess what? We all came from there. We were not originated from this country. So you tell me why you want to use the black narrative when it comes to Cardi B, when Cardi B and Nicki are from the same descent. There is no separation there at all. Just the fact that Cardi looks light-skinned and has some Spanish in her, yet Nicki has Indian in her. So what is the problem? This is where it comes to BlackTea blog, and I say I believe that there's some black women who just have always had problems with lighter-skinned women. And it was a running conception that a lot of people, or men, black men, preferred light-skinned women and white women. But don't portray that hatred of what another gender did to propel all these narratives. Nicki is a very, very controversial person when it comes to this. She's consistently using that black narrative. BlackTea blog has used it. Tasha K has used it. The lady from the Shade Room has used it. But guess what? Nicki is not fully black. But guess what? We're all black. I'm brown-skinned. I have family, friends who are light-skinned, some are dark-skinned. I love them all because we are all from the same person. We relate to the same struggles. some more than others, but we can't fault people who relate to certain struggles and others that don't because of the skin color. Karuchi Tran, Saweetie, they have Asian in them. They're still black. They're in the culture. They're black. Cardi B supports black causes. She supports black people. She has a black husband. She has black kids. She supports black DJs. She puts money in black people's pockets. Black directors. Black rappers, female rappers, artists. She's always showing love to black people. Nicki Minaj is always showing hate to black female rappers who are at the top of their game. Who is the problem in this? Who is the problem? And for BlackTea blog to continue to perpetuate that narrative is sickening. What she needs to do is reevaluate herself. Clearly, she has a problem with herself. When she looks in the mirror, she has a problem with herself. And that's why she has to put all that misplaced anger to somebody else. Now, we're going to look at what Tank said. Tank asked, why do black-skinned women hate light-skinned women? And people were pissed off. But he said every time he posts pictures of light-skinned girlfriends on his Facebook, he always sees negative comments and frustration. And a lot of people didn't like it. They said, black women make men like you famous, are the main ones at your shows, and routinely feel devalued by the color preferences. Then the real question is, what do you have against our dark-skinned sisters? Don't ask questions you're not willing to answer yourself. That's what they told Tank. Tank responded and said, I speak freely with no consequence. I fear no consequence. I live and love my life. And another Twitter user said, why isn't Oprah next to you to let you know you're choosing the wrong path to set Twitter aflame? But again, it comes just down to the question of, why are you really mad at Cardi B? You have looked at her and seen that this woman is successful, and you're trying to find things that are not sticking. So you try to find one thing and perpetuate a narrative. Nicki has done that so many times, trying to say she's not black. But Nicki, you are from the same descent as Cardi B, so miss me with that BS. Stop it. It's upsetting. Again, we are all black. Period.